Hello everybody and welcome back to the Airing It Out podcast. Thank you for joining us once more. Now before we get into this episode, I've got a couple questions for you. Do you have trouble saying no? Do you like disappointing people so much that you don't give enough time to the things that you want to do? Do you overextend yourself to keep other people happy? And do you want to reclaim some of that time back for yourself? Well, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about setting boundaries and the art of saying no. And now that's not exactly a no, but it's more of a no. Now, why is this important? You know, it's good to do things for other people, and it's good to be there, and it's good to be supportive. But at the same time, you as an individual have the responsibility to look after yourself. You know, even if every now and then we wish someone were to look after us and take care of all of our problems for us, that's not the reality of it, I'm afraid. When I did a support group, we were taught that you have to put the life mask on yourself first. You have to be at your best to be there for others. If, as support group host, you're not able to look after yourself, bloody hell, God knows what it's going to be like for the people who are going to try and participate in these meetings. And it's the same in the fire service. You are your first responsibility, your safety and your health. You don't want to become another casualty, and you don't want to become a liability for your team who are also relying on you. Now, all of that does sound pretty serious. You know, it's your responsibility to look after yourself because you have to be your best for other people. But that isn't quite what we mean. What we mean is why you need to look after yourself is because you deserve to look after yourself. You deserve to be doing the things that you want to do. Now, what do you like doing? What do you really feel like doing? Those are the kind of things that you might want to do. And you also deserve to do what you need to do. Part of taking time for yourself could be self-care. Some people do regard self-care as your responsibilities, your household daily responsibilities that keep things ticking over. Because if you're not able to take care of them, then those things just build up for you. And you know, you want to be able to be on top of those things and not have them in the back of your mind. Another reason is that you deserve to be at your best. You deserve to be at your best. When you go out and about, when you go meet these people, when you go do your responsibilities, your obligations, your work, whatever, you deserve to be your best self doing them. But that also applies for others. You also deserve to be your best for other people. You want to be able to give the most you can to the people that you care about when it's appropriate. And it's always difficult when you're glass half empty. We can't always give. You can't give and give and give and give and give without taking a little bit too. And that is the essence of what we're talking about today. Now, on the other side of that coin, you deserve to have your time respected. You deserve to not have your energy wasted. And you deserve to save yourself the grief of not revisiting certain issues, certain behaviours in relationships, and you deserve to not talk about things that you're not comfortable talking about or discussing. All of these are ways that in which we can set healthy, mindful boundaries for ourselves. If you don't want to cross that, don't cross it. If someone tries, it's up to us and our self-respect to say no. Let's look at how we can do this then. You know, we've spoken all of this, but what does it look like in practice? Okay, well, I get it. Many of us are British, middle class and mild, so we like to be polite. We don't like to offend, and we like to be a little bit proper. We don't like to upset people, basically, but saying no doesn't mean you have to upset everyone. And you won't always upset people by saying no. However, I do appreciate that there is a big connotation or maybe even an expectation that by saying no, you'll be letting somebody down. They've asked you for something and you're saying no. But, you know, it's okay, and we'll go over that. So let's start with why. Why we're setting these boundaries and saying no. We have to identify the reason, what we're doing it for, so that when the situation comes up, we know why we're doing it. We are protecting and respecting your needs as an individual. Now, what are your needs? At a base layer, your needs are the things that you need to do or you need to have in line for yourself so that you can operate as a person and as a human being. If one of these things is off kilter, one of them's not right, or there's a bit of an imbalance, that's something that might affect you. If your needs aren't being met or they're not being taken care of, then that can have a negative effect on you. So those are the needs that we're going to address. That needs to address bit. Now, I've got an interesting relationship with my needs, and I think I might have spoken about it on the podcast before. However, I'll go over it quickly again. Mine started with realising that many of the needs in my vocabulary were pressures that I was putting on myself. I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. When in actual fact, those are what I wanted to do. They weren't actually my needs. But when I've been doing counselling work recently, my counsellor asked me, okay, well, what are your needs? And I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, God, okay. I need to find that out. And I did. And I spent some time identifying what my needs are. You know, you say what you want. I'm 26. That could be a lot older for you as a viewer, or it could be a lot younger, depending on who you are. But as a 26-year-old man, I've only just started finding out what my needs are, and that's completely fine, because now I know them. And to give you a few examples of my needs: eating clean, holding myself to a high standard, staying fit, particularly martial arts. That's really good for me. I need to be able to do martial arts. I need to keep up with myself. I need to keep myself accountable. I need quiet time. I need to not be serious all the time, because God knows that I'll do that if I don't keep myself in check. And I need to see the world. Those are some of the things that I would struggle if one of them wasn't there, or if I wasn't able to do one of them, I wouldn't be doing so good within myself. So take some time. If you don't know what your needs are, please take the time. It doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be intense. It's just, what are the things that you might already be doing which you know are self-care and self-love and self-maintenance for yourself? Write them down. Know what they are. Now, although mine didn't mention many of them, your needs might also include wants. So your needs are more longer term, but also kind of daily maintenance. But it could be exhausted and worn out. You might need self-care time. You might need responsibility time. And you might need rest. Oh, rest. Those are things that you can assert your boundaries from. Okay, we know why, but how? Let's have a hypothetical. So picture this. You've just had a really busy week at work. You've been absolutely hammered. Monday through to Friday, it's just all been going on. Last week, your friend invited you out. There's a few of you going, and along the way, a couple of them might have dropped out. So there's not as many people going, and you think, oh God. You know within yourself that it would be a Herculean effort to go, and you're just absolutely distraught. You could be busy on Saturday, you could be busy on Sunday. So Friday night is the only night where you have a little bit of time. And it might rock up to it, and then you might, have a word with yourself and say, I don't want to do this. Or the way that we're looking at it in this episode is, this is the only opportunity that I have for rest, for time for myself, to get back to where I need to be. They're all going out on an absolute rager. They are going to be absolutely mental, but you might not have that in you. So what can we do? I've found forward honesty is the best policy. The more definitive, the better it is received, usually. I will preface that. I will add to that, usually. If you can say, the longer it takes you to say no or yes, then it's not received quite so well. So if you're able to say straight off the bat, I'm not able to do this, or I'm not going to be able to join you this evening, no fluff, there it is, tell them. We usually think that this might disappoint them and upset them, but if we get it out of the way first, say it as the first thing, I'm not going to be able to come, I can't do this, then that's less of a hard blow for them, or at least the shorter form that you say it in it will hurt, it will be a bit more disappointing, but it won't be a lasting disappointment. It's okay, this person's not going to be able to come. Or at least that's my interpretation of it. We can say no and set boundaries. By saying no and setting boundaries can be done with grace, love and respect. It's having that compassion. It's understanding the position you might have then put somebody else in. But it works both ways, because you wouldn't have come to this decision if you did not have grace, love and respect for yourself, your energy and your own time. You can't always give. Sometimes you've got to take. There's somebody that I've learned about through podcasts called Byron Katie, who is famous for something called The Works, which you should definitely check out if you're able to. And her way of doing it, she's a complete open book, a complete free spirit, as everyone regards her as she removes the but from the sentence. I'm sorry, but I won't be able to come to this. Or I'm not going to be able to, but I really wanted to. And the way she does it is she says, thank you and no. We have such a negative connotation around using the word but, because it's always like, this is that, however, this is what I'm thinking, or like, this is what's actually happening. Give you the nice bit, but then here's the real bit. Get rid of it. Say, thank you for inviting me, and I'm not going to be able to come. I'm sorry. I apologise if you... There. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm not going to be able to come today. I'm not going to be able to make it. We can also have boundaries in saying no within our internal voices. So a couple of weeks ago, I'd been invited off the cuff to see somebody last minute, and I had the opportunity to. However, at that time, it was my only real available window to do some podcast planning. And I could have gone to see them, and they wanted me to go see them, and it was all exciting, but I had to say to myself first, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do that. I need to do this. This is my self-care. This is my responsibility. This is what I need to do. So, although it's not the fun, exciting, enjoyable option, setting that boundary for myself, and then everyone else follows. Taking that time, that respect, having a little bit of discipline and grace in saying, okay, no, this is the decision. Hopefully, our episode on mindful boundaries, saying no with grace and love and respect, has been helpful to you, and hopefully you'll be able to implement some of them into your own life. Please do let us know, what boundaries do you have? What instances have you had of when someone has tried to cross a boundary, or you have had to assert your boundary over a situation? Please take care of yourself, be kinder than necessary, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.